Hello Year 4, it's Miss Borhan here. I hope you're all doing well and staying safe. I want you to write down the long date, Wednesday 6th of May 2020, and the LI to plan a newspaper report. Well done everyone. Now let's get on with the starter. We're going to be reading out these sentences. William the Conqueror was born in France. He was the Duke of Normandy before becoming the King of England. Now, how do we know that these sentences are written in the third person? And is this a fact or an opinion? Now pause this slide and have a think. Well done everyone. We know that these sentences are written in the third person because the name of a person is used, William the Conqueror. What else? We have the pronouns he. Well done if you got that correct. And is this a fact or an opinion? It is a fact because it is true and it has happened, so it's proved to be true. So that's how we know it's a fact. It's not an opinion because an opinion is a view or judgment viewed about something, not necessarily based on fact or knowledge. So for example, if I say, I think purple is the best colour, that's not a fact because it's not proved to be true. It's just my personal preference. Let's read this. I came across the local baker who explained that William should just go back home. What punctuation is missing from this sentence? Pause and have a think. Well done everyone. So over here, go back home. This is speech. So we need to be putting inverted commas like this. To show the reader that this is speech. Is there anything else missing? This G needs to be capital. Well done if you got that correct. So now let's look through the structure of a newspaper report. We have at the top the headline and byline, the lead, the body, and the tail. And as you can see, the body, there's a lot of space over here, so that shows how important the body is, and the bulk of your writing will go in the body. For a good headline, you need to catch the reader's attention so they want to read the rest of the report. You need to sum up the story in a few words and use powerful and interesting language. You need to write in the present tense, so even if the report is about an event that has already happened, the headline needs to be in the present tense, and you need to include alliteration or wit at times. So can you think of a headline for your news report? Pause and have a think. My one would be breaking news, French invasion. And as you can see, this is in present tense. I haven't used the past tense. What headline did you come up with? You can write it down and show me. Byline. For a good byline, you need the writer's name. So I would put my name and you can put your name. And the writer's specialty. So for example, I would say I'm a historical reporter. What would you put as your specialty? And then we have the lead paragraph. For a good lead paragraph, you need to make the paragraph short and snappy so that it briefly explains what has happened. You need to ensure that even if the reader stopped reading at this point, they would still know roughly what happened. You need to use past tense in most cases and make sure that the first paragraph answers as many of these 6 questions as you can. The who, the what, the where, the why, the when, and how. So remember our lesson on the 5 W's and 1 H. So this is where you would place it. So in the lead paragraph or in the subtitle. So even if someone stopped reading, know briefly what the article is about. And for a good body section, you need to add more information and detail to your lead paragraph. Include background information, evidence, facts and quotes from people involved or connected to the event or story, and continue to write in order of importance, putting the most important information in the first few paragraphs of the body section. And having quotes from witnesses or experts will make your report more credible and interesting. Credible means convincing. And you need to make sure to use the correct punctuation for quotes. So you need to use your inverted commas. And for a good tale section, you need to give the reader the opportunity to gain additional information if they are particularly interested in the topic of the news report. And you can include a final quote from a witness or expert that helps you sum up the story or could hint about what could happen next. So although it is useful, it is not always needed, and as we can see from this pyramid, it's the least important information in the report. So we already know from history what happens after William the Conqueror came to England, but you're writing as if you're in that time. So you're not in 2020, you're in 1066 AD. So you wouldn't know what happens in the future. So at the end you can write, what future lies ahead for England? Will the new king bring about positive change? So I want you all to read this report. So pause and read it. And then I want you to identify where is the headline and byline, the lead, the body, and the tail. Well done, everyone. I'll also read it. School children raise funds for local charity. Jack Smith, education reporter. A small group of Year 4 students from Grange Primary School have created a brilliant plan to raise money for a local charity that assists people in the community. Following a visit to the school from a charity representative, the students set out to create a way of raising much needed funds. The students presented the fundraising idea to head teacher Mr. Kerbel, who saw great potential in the plan to sell produce from the school's vegetable garden to local restaurants and, in turn, raise money for the local charity. He stated that the children have displayed a true sense of community in their fundraising plan. Following a meeting with teachers, it is hoped that the students can begin to implement the four-phase plan. The school would support students wholly in the fundraising venture, Mr. Kerbel added. The school plans to sell the garden produce to 2 local restaurants beginning in early September. For more information on this fundraising plan, visit the Grange Primary School website. So we have the headline, School Children Raise Funds for Local Charity, the byline, the name of the reporter, and he's an education reporter, the lead, this is where you would find the 5 W's, the body, you can see where most of the information is added, and at the end, the tail. Now, the purpose of your newspaper report is to inform the reader of William the Conqueror's arrival to Britain. Now, you need to remember that this event just happened. You are a journalist at the time of the conquest. So reports are usually published a day after or even a few hours after the event has taken place. So really keep this in mind when you're writing your report, when you're planning your newspaper report. So when planning it, you are not writing it at this stage. So you can plan it in this structure. So what would your headline be? What would your byline be? What would your lead be? The 5 W's. So you could go back to your notes when you on 5 W's and the questions that you answered about William the Conqueror. You can add them in bullet points over here. Your introductory paragraph over here, you can add background information on William for the reader. Where did he come from? So you can add bullet points. And think about how many paragraphs you want your report to have. Who will you interview for your report? Remember, you can make up the interviews. So for example, I have over here, I interviewed someone and they said, I don't want a foreign king ruling our country. And then you can add that to your report, inverted commas. So what type of people would you interview? And at the end, you can have your concluding paragraph. So you can go through your notes just to refresh your memories about the events that took place. Remember that William, he saw that he was the rightful heir to the throne of England. He was from France. He was known as William, Duke of Normandy. And then during the Battle of Hastings in 1066 AD, he beat Harold Godwinson. And then on Christmas Day, he was crowned king. So you really need to think, how do you think the people of England would have felt that a foreign king would came and ruled over them? What do you think the people would be feeling? So as a journalist, as a reporter, you could be going to interview people and get their opinions and add those opinions in your article to make it more convincing. And of course, the facts that you add, the background information, these are all facts. Over here is a template that will be on the school website that you can use to help you. So just don't forget to add your headline. And here's another template that you can also use. So who was involved? What happened? First, next, then. Where did the event happen? When did it happen? Who was involved in the event? Who will you interview? What did they have to say? What are the characters doing now? And what might happen in the future? So your final paragraph. So you can use this template also to help structure your thoughts. So remember that we're not writing the report now, we're just planning it. And once you're done that, you can take a picture of your work and email me at year4@grange.harrow.sch.uk. Good luck, everyone.